Hey everyone, it's me again, Lewie. A couple things I want to talk to you about today. First thing, this is mostly for New Yorkers, but anybody who wants to listen in can pay attention and maybe throw in some advice as to how to make things better. First thing I want to talk about, like I said, is mostly for New Yorkers, and it's about the separation of our state. Basically, what's going on is they want to take upstate New York and make it a separate state from New York City. I'm all for it, and I'll go through and explain everything as to why. And first reason is because of taxes. A lot of upstate taxes go down to pay for things going on in New York City. Now, a lot of you New York City people don't believe that's true, but it is. You can't tell me it isn't. You've got several million people down there, and a lot of them are on social services. A lot of them are just sucking the government dry with whatever you can come up with. Second reason is New York City has enough people to get these rules that have been placed in our government to force their way of living on us. Up here, we cannot live like they do in New York City. We can't call a cab by waving our hand on the side of the road. It's not possible. We hunt up here, we fish up here, we live off our land up here if you own land. We don't have the shoulder-to-shoulder contact with people up here. We have room for movement up here. We don't live the way they do in New York City. So every law they come up with to help New York City is actually hurting upstate New York. So that's another reason why we need to get rid of New York City. And the third and biggest reason why we need to get rid of New York City is none of our upstate candidates can make it into office unless it's from our districts. We cannot get an upstate individual in as governor because the governors that we get, they come from New York City and they warm up to New York City so that they can get the votes to get in. Now, when I say that, I am referring to both Cuomo's, Pataki, and everybody else. They all came from downstate. All right. I don't think we've had an upstate governors in decades. All right. So in order to get the representation upstate needs, we need to be separate from the city. It's that simple. Now, there's a lot of people that think we can't survive without New York City. Well, we can. All right. We're the ones that are paying the taxes, and they're the ones that are receiving the benefits. We receive a few benefits, but they receive most of our tax money. We don't get anything from Wall Street unless we have stocks or bonds or something else, a commodity that is covered by Wall Street. So, with that being said, on top of that, New York City gets their water from us because their Hudson River is too polluted for them to take from. They get our tax money for everything. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't be feeding and clothing and everything going on in New York City with all the businesses they got. But with the laws they have and with the tax laws they have, our tax money goes down there. We can survive without New York City. The problem is if the state becomes two states, there's going to be a free-for-all. The politicians that are there are going to take everything they can. Money, furniture, whatever. They're going to take everything they can get their hands on to work with New York City, leaving New York State broke. The rest of us broke. So what we need to do, if we get this through, is before the separation takes place, before they even begin dividing up assets and what have you, we need to get some people up there that know a thing or two about what upstate should have. We should get them in Albany and get them to nail shit down that should stay with upstate New York. Let them take whatever's left. That's just my opinion. The second thing I want to talk about, I don't know her name, but but she's an Islam representative in the House. There's two of them. But the way I understand it, the one did a lot of anti-Semitic speeches. Said something that was anti-Semitic. The problem I'm having with this is the liberals and Democrats are accusing conservatives of being racist, accusing us of being anti anything that they're for, which in most cases are true. But one thing we're not is racist. Yeah, we got a few radicals that are. You're going to have it everywhere you go. All right. But for the most part, conservatives are peace lovers who are not racist. They just have their firm beliefs about marriage. They have their firm beliefs about abortion. They have their firm beliefs about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all the amendments, including the second and first. And we believe that we should be heard as much as the Dems are. The problem is we're being accused of being racist, and yet this one woman who is a Democrat is running a bunch of anti-Semitic nonsense. So what that tells you, you don't hear Republicans doing that. You don't hear the conservatives doing that in the Republican side. So that should tell you right there where the real racism is. The real racism is in the Democratic Party. It's in the DNC. Yeah, they did a little thing where they voted in this little thing saying that they are not anti-Semitic and it's wrong and this and that. But it wasn't a very strong thing. I wish I could think of the name of it. It wasn't very strong. It didn't even name the offender. Okay? It never named her. It should have named the offender. It should have had in there a referendum or whatever they call it. It should have said in there that it'll never happen again. I don't think that was in there either. I haven't read it yet. I don't think I'm going to get to. I want to, but I don't think I'm going to get to. But the whole point is that in itself tells you where the racism is. It's not in the Conservative Party. It's not in the Republican Party. The true racism is in Washington, D.C., in the Democratic Party. I don't know how else to point it out to you. It's on the news. It's right there. It's in your face. You liberals who think you're so perfect, it's in your face where the racism really is. And I suggest you rethink your political position, because I figure it this way. If something's not broke, don't fix it. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And when you go to accuse someone of being racist, look for the evidence. The evidence is there. It's in front of you. You don't have to make stories up with this. This is all over the news. Okay? I've been hearing about it for the last 4 or 5 days. So, it's there. Pay attention. Open a book if you don't know what I'm talking about. Open a book. Read a newspaper. Find out what's going on. It's there. In black and white. It happened. And it's from the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party. All right. I think that's going to cover it. The video's running a little longer than I wanted it to begin with. You have a good day. Talk to you again soon.